Throughout the last century, Batman has had multiple versions in TV and cinema. All of those had their qualities and flaws. But in the late 90s, it felt like Warner Brothers didn't really know what to do with the character.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
That's why in the early 2000s they decided to take a totally different approach to the character. Christopher Nolan enters the scene and voila! We have a darker, more realistic and relatable Batman coming together. Staying in this gray zone made people, and even Batman himself, wonder if he really is considered a hero in these movies. Here we'll try to break it down how the Christian Bale Batman in the Dark Knight Trilogy actually fits into the hero's journey, because, you know, our channel's name's not for nothing. Everyone's familiar with Batman's origin story. Rich parents, they get killed in front of him, and the boy grows up devoted to fighting crime in Gotham City, with a deep sense of revenge and justice. We've all seen this a million times. And this is the first step of the famous hero's journey, the so-called ordinary world. What's cool about Batman Begins is that Nolan showed us a Bruce before becoming the Caped Crusader, an enraged, angry young man who realizes the corrupt, mafia-controlled environment of his beloved city, and wants to act on it despite not knowing how.
Look around you. You'll see two councilmen, a union official, a couple off-duty cops, and a judge. Now, I wouldn't have a second's hesitation in blowing your head off right here and right now in front of them. Now, that's power you can't buy. That's the power of fear.
Here, Bruce is not a hero. No, not yet. He's just driven by his emotions and his strong sense of revenge, even thinking about shooting the man who killed his parents. And luckily, Falcone beat him to it. And Bruce starts to see how the entire system is corrupt. As he realizes that nothing could be done, he goes to prison to punch a few inmates. But Bruce still has no purpose. That's when the call to adventure happens, as Bruce is locked up in a distant country, completely lost and just acting on his anger. He's refusing the call, hiding in a place he wouldn't be found, with no identity and no real consequences, good or bad. That's when we have a meeting with the mentor, as he's offered by Ra's al Ghul to join the League of Shadows, where he would learn to master fear, fight properly, and be able to do justice, becoming a legend and the man he was actually supposed to be. After the training and kicking all the ninjas' asses, Bruce returns to Gotham and crosses the threshold, finally deciding to become a symbol, a legend that would do right by the city and the people, while installing fear on the criminals. He really becomes the Batman.
I'm Batman.
But here we face two important stages of a hero's journey. We have tests, allies, and enemies, and the approach to the inmost cave. Here Bruce realizes that with the creation of the Batman figure, a lot of crazy enemies are showing up as well. And of course he can't do it all alone, so he counts on Alfred, Fox, Rachel, and even Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. The pinnacle of this trilogy, and that shows a more matured and steady on his principles Batman, is obviously the masterpiece The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger's Joker comes as a perfect counterpoint to the hero and tries to drive him to the edge, to the limit of his sanity. You see, Batman only has one rule. He doesn't kill.
I won't kill you.
Joker's not interested in power, money, and doesn't even want to kill Batman. He just wants to make him break his precious rule.
I have one rule.
Oh, then that's the rule you'll have to break to know the truth.
Which is?
The only sensible way to live in this world is without rules. And tonight you're gonna break your one rule.
He wants to break the man, the principle, show that anyone can become just as crazy and anarchic as the Joker himself, which he eventually kind of proves with Harvey Dent. The ordeal of the hero comes during the interrogation scene, when Joker demonstrates that he's willing to go all the way to make Batman break. The Big Bat loses patience and becomes uncontrollable upon discovering that Rachel, the love of his life, was caught along with Harvey Dent, and he needs to find a way to save them both. However, he fails. So Rachel dies, and the Joker turns the White Knight of Gotham into a villain, an effectively hopeless and bad person. Despite the difference, both Batman and Bruce are emotionally shaken by having to deal with her death. The hero seems unable to find the strength to move forward. Now, usually after all the disgrace that happens to the hero, we have a reward stage, but that's not what Nolan wants. At least not in the traditional way. Because it's not the hero here who receives the rewards and applause, but Harvey Dent. Bruce chooses to sacrifice himself to save the lives of those he loves. He opts to become a villain in the eyes of society, so that true peace can reign in Gotham, and the people can believe that Harvey was incorruptible, that he died a good man, that he would become a symbol of hope and justice.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
In other words, as Gordon says it himself,
Because it's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now.
he accepts this burden because Batman is a silent guardian, a watchful protector. He is the Dark Knight. After this masterpiece, we have the ending of the trilogy, which is not as great as the other two, but still a good way to finish it. Batman hits the road back phase, and at this stage, he's retired, recluded in his mansion, as a mere observer while people talk trash about the hero. In his view, he's done everything he could for Gotham, and it was working as expected. But Bane appears and tries to bring chaos to Gotham once more. So Batman returns and tries to intervene, but Bane is too strong for the retired Dark Knight and literally breaks him, physically and spiritually. So Bruce goes back to prison and is forced to watch his own city being destroyed. He must find his way back, take care of his body, sharpen his mind, and strengthen his spirit. He receives the help from fellow inmates who teach him that a man cannot live without pain or fears, and show him that the secret is to live with them. Then Bruce recovers and makes the climb back home, along with Selina and Blake by his side. They did Anne Hathaway's Catwoman dirty, by the way. She could have been a great character here. And now comes the final stage of every hero's journey, the famous resurrection and return with the elixir. In the final battle to save Gotham against the mini Bane, Batman seeks to retake control of the city. He must not only face his enemy again, but also deal with the betrayal by Talia, until finally he must sacrifice himself one last time to save his city. Batman ceases to be the villain that Gotham needed at the end of The Dark Knight. Now he has been rightly recognized and is deservedly transformed into a martyr for justice, a true heroic symbol for Gotham. And now the hero's journey is complete. Batman is dead and Bruce can live the life he never knew he could enjoy. He starts to live a peaceful, passionate life as we see in the final scenes of the film. The hero of the Dark Knight Trilogy is not Batman, but a human being in the flesh who goes beyond himself and changes within him so that he can save his city. Bruce is flawed, damaged, and full of scars, which makes him more than a man during his journey. Batman had everything to become a villain himself. Traumatic episodes, anger, a city that's drowning in corruption and crime. But that's exactly why Batman is still a fan favorite. He doesn't become bad. And although having the opportunity to become bad, to have no reason for hope or joy whatsoever, he decides to try to do the right thing. On his own terms, sure, but he doesn't quit. He doesn't give up on his principles and his beliefs. He chooses to be the right hero for the people. And he doesn't rely on superpowers or perfect Boy Scout behavior, which creates even more identification with the public. Deep down, we all believe we can be and should be like Batman. And that's exactly why Batman continues to reinvent himself and has more and more movies. As Campbell teaches us in the narrative of the hero's journey, the true hero is one who realizes that the world is bigger than he is, and bigger than his selfish desires. So tell us, did you ever analyze Batman's trajectory based on the hero's journey? If you think we let something important get away, please tell us in the comments. Here on our channel, we also analyze the lives of ordinary people who have become true legends in the history of humanity and connect their trajectories with the stages of the hero's journey. We believe that all of us have the potential to live our personal legend and fulfill our greater purpose, because the hero's journey is about the lives of all of us. Like this video? Then leave a like to reach more people. And if you want to receive more inspiring content, subscribe to our channel to receive our next episodes. That's it for today. I'll see you next time.